Okay.
Now, guys, you may see my screen.
Yes, I can see your screen. So yeah,
Yeah, I can
just
see.
yes. So just choose one page.
You said you have to start with homepage, root page.
Oh, I see. Okay, okay. I forgot. Yeah, just choose the homepage. Okay. Just think of it like you're explaining it to Richard. Okay, like you're teaching him.
Mm, okay, no problem, sir.
Yes.
Okay, let me start. Yeah, this is my this is my homepage. This is my homepage codes. Yeah, as you see, in my homepage codes, we have script part and we have HTML part. So by start with our script parts
Oh, but by the way,
on top.
guys, Arnold,
Yes, sir.
just a few seconds. Okay, so yeah, while you're explaining, I might ask some question. Okay, some basic questions like, what does that do? Your function, something like that. Okay.
Okay.
Okay, you can continue.
Okay. So in my script tag, they start with line 2 up to 8. It's all about imports, components imported from bytes, which can help me in my page. As you see, first we import date picker. This date picker is date selection component, which can help in my web application. So I import also go to function. This is a function that helps me to navigate from one page to another. In line 4, I imported on mount function. This is also a function. That's it always learns my component when I initialize it. So also I imported clipboard list out circle plus. This is icons that will help in my app. That helped in my app to show, maybe if you go in my, let me open my web also. This is my home page. So as you, I imported my clipboard list out and the circle plus outline. Let me show. So this icon,
Okay.
circle plus is this one from nearby add entry text button. Inside of this button, nearby add entry. So I imported from flow bytes. Yeah. So let me proceed. I imported also gradient button. As you see, my add entry of gradient button. I imported mode button. Mode and button. You'll see in my page. I have mode. As you see, when I click add some mods, pop up some mod. This is from 4 bytes. So I have imported the spinner. This is helping for loading my, to show my client the data processed from the backend. So as you see now, when I try to add something in my page, maybe let me select the date and add something, payments, and the first name, maybe this one. When I submit, is loading down bottom right. So this is component from 4 bytes. So I have I imported the toasty also. This toasty is toasty notification when my data successful to be loaded. So yeah, when I think I will show you later, maybe now. So when I I filled my details and submit, it's loading and then notify me entry is added and successful. So this component are from Flowbyte. So now I think you guys are aware of my component that I imported. Uh, Now move direct to my declaration of my variable. I hope we are together. If you have any question, Richard, you're welcome. Lich. Okay, maybe we may proceed. So all these components are imported. So why I imported the all component? Because I'm going to use it in my web pages. Maybe in this page and the other page, because it's related to each other. So my next part, which I'm going to explain, is all about a declaration. This is my variable declaration. Is where I declare my variable. It's all reactive variables. So as they declare, let me start with select collectors. This select collector, this is my variable. As you see, is nearly empty. It will store a list of available collectors. So all my collector that I create in my application, it will stored by this variable of collectors. So simple like that. So next variable that I declared is selected collector. This is null, as you see. All this is store. It's store current collector. Current selected collector in my app. When I select currently, so it is going to be stored in this variable selected collector. So I have another variable that I declared is all about selected date. Selected date, this is store selected date. So when you select date, automatically it is store. It be stored in selected date. I have withdraw is the drop down open. This is variable. It can be is boolean as data type. So we have two options, false or true. So this is drop down open. This is control some drop is it control drop down. It control drop down in, so if let me go to my app maybe is this is control drop down visibility. So if I click in my drop down here, so the drop down it's true. If it's false, nothing can happen. So you will see my function at the bottom. Next.
By the way,
Okay.
Richard,
Yes.
you can take notes while Arnold is explaining, because he is explaining it so well. I am I'm actually humbled. You are explaining it so well. And look at his codes. It's very neat, very clean. Clean looking. So all the imports is on the top side. Okay, it's very arranged, and all the variables declarations is all in one part from lines 10 to 21. Yeah, so it's easy to look at. So for example, if I am a new developer and I work with Arnold, I'm just a new to the company and he lets me work with Arnold with his project. And one look at his codes, I know exactly what these are. So that's the importance of being able to write codes very cleanly. Okay, so you've done a really good job there, Arnold. Okay. So yeah, you may continue. Richard, you can take notes, take some insights from Arnold's explanation. Okay, continue.
Okay. Okay, we proceed in line number 13. We declare is dropping down. I said it controls the drop down invisibility. So its data type is boolean, so can be either true or false. If it is true, it will drop down. If false, nothing can happen. We have another variable, let's records. All these variable I declare according to scenario, according to the things it's going to do, according to its operation, it is function, according to its function. So as you see, drop down, I declared it though is responsible for drop down. So I have another variable called the I comment C neighbor to store fetched records. So it store only fetched records from backend. But this fetched record is entry fetched records from backend. I have another variable is filtered records. This is store filtered record from backend. So I think these comments will help me to explain. I have another variable called is loading records. Is for data type is boolean. So I think this also he explained during as the presentation time. So this is loading. It show loading state when I fetch the code. As you've seen, when I said during importation, during I explain the import parts, I say I import some spinner from 4 bytes. So all this is responsible for showing my user that the data is processed. Let me try to add some entry here. 4,000 John. So when I try to submit is loading component at the bottom right. So that is the all function of that. So I declared is a variable that responsible for that function is named loading records. So when it's false, nothing can happen. But when it's true, we'll see in our function, it's loading. So I have another variable is submitting. I have another variable is submitting. So also this is submitting is boolean. Have two it says a true or false. When you say boolean data type means that we have two options in that data type, true or false. When is it true, it be executed. When it's false, nothing can happen. So this variable is submitting. It tracks submission status. In a simple way, we can say that in a track, it's track submission status. So I have another variable is form. This thing you'll see as task, as function. We have another variable in line number 18. Let is form submitting. So as you see, I have my comment nearby. New variable to control form visibility is form submitting. This is control visibility of entry form. In my page, I have entry form. So this is form visibility. Help me to make my form visible or invisible. So when it falls, nothing will be invisible. But when it be executed and true, it be visible to user. So I have line number. I'm in line number 19. My variable is default mode. This is mode of pop-ups that I was imported from my 4 bytes field. So this also is boolean. So when it's false, nothing can. When it's true, it be pop-up. This modes. This is helping my add entry. As you see, when I click add, it pop-ups. So you'll see as how it's work in my page. My second last is toast visibility. This is as you see my toast notification. I made it to be to toast the automatic and disappear without any user to interrupt it. So I setted some second to handle this notification. As you see, when I add some entry here, maybe 7,000 early. So when I add, it's loading notification. This is added and the automatic disappear. So this is behind this. It be operated by this function called the toast visibility. My last variable, it's all about the error mode. So this is its control error mode visibility. This is like a notification card. That is my last request that I'm working on. This variable was introduced yesterday. So as you see now, if I forget to, let me leave the load on mount. So if I select collector, I select this collector and I forget to select date, and I add some my entry without selecting date, maybe, and when I submit it, pop, please select collect and date error. So this, and if it notify you by mode pop instead of browser pop-ups. So this, it's all about error modes as variable can help me to accomplish that request by that function. So after this variable declaration, now I'm move on to some function of this page, my home page, that help me to achieve that all you see in my application. So let me dive there to my function. My function, yeah. Line number 24. Line number 24. It's all about on mount function. It's a bit. Okay. Okay. Let's
so
proceed.
before we proceed, Richard, do you have any questions so far?
No.
Okay. You may proceed.
Okay, may proceed.
Okay.
Okay. This function, as you see, this is function. When I click control, this is function automatic. So as you see my comments above, fetch collector from backend. But this is not, this is always fetch collector. It means I find some easy way to explain this one. When component is loaded, maybe let me go to my app, maybe it will be easier to explain. This is on mount function. It always, as you see, I call this function fetch collector. So this is all fetched in my all collector from backends, collectors from backend. When all component I loaded, when a component loaded, it's automatic called this function fetch collectors. So it fetch all collectors. Let me go to my web page. Maybe it'll be easy. Let me reload. As you see, when you click reload this, and I click this.
Okay.
When you click reload, it's automatic. It automatically fetch the all collectors, automatically fetch the loads available collectors that found in my in my backend. All collector that I created or user created, it be loaded automatically. That's why when you click also all collector, it's found all collectors that found in my app. So this it's load. It's called, in short, this when you click it going to call this fetch collector function, and this fetch collector function is responsible for calling all collectors that found in my it's called all collector from backend in a simple way like that. So yeah, that's all about this on mount function. Another function is show form function. As I declared above, is form visibility false or form visibility true. So when form visibility is true, it automatically call this function. It's automatic. As you see, when I click it go direct to my variables that I declare. It's called as function is you'll see here. I use this function. I use this function at the bottom here. You'll see how I linked it to my function below. So when this function is loaded, it make my form visible to my user. So when this is loaded, it make my function visible to my user, So yeah, if you have any question, you're welcome. Sometime.
For sure. How about you, Richard?
If I understandable. You are not get me ask a question. Maybe I can repeat it again for you to understand. Yeah. So I have another function here. It's a fetch collector function. Okay, so this fetch collector function this fetch collector function is fetch collector from backend. Try catch method to create this function. This is all in my flow. It's making it when he try it execute when his statement fetch collect try it try first this all this it try this collector function. If this code it's work well, so it to be executed. When it's failed, it's going to catch this notification at the bottom, error fetching collector. So it may give the failed to be learned. So this is the essence of using this try catch method, try catch block. So if my operation, my codes lands and the success, it run only try, and if it's failed, it catch errors and they notify to me error fetching collector. So this occur sometime when you learn page and nothing can. It help you to know exactly what's wrong in your codes. If anything can happen, can you hinder your codes can you hinder your codes? It's notify error fetching collector, and you'll know where to start to troubleshoot your codes, your problem. But if it's successful, it runs this try catch. Let me explain this try block, or code that found in try block. I use the get method. This here our function used it to fetch all collector from backend. As you see in my backend, API backend. My API backend, as you see, this is fetch from, as you see, from file API collectors. So I am coming to my API collectors, this one, you'll see. So when API collector, so it's fetch, it's get its fetch. So it selects your, as you see, collectors. Let me show you clear. This is my API files, so of collectors where my function fetched. This is my homepage. So it request by get from backend. API collector, this one method. So to fetch all, when I'm in my API, so it's come to fetch. As you see, it database execute is come to fetch all. It select all collectors, and then after that, it fetch from database from backend. Then it's like in simple world, it's like fetch the collector. It's first of all, it bring communication between backend and the front end. As you see in my user interface, I need data from backend. So let me go to, maybe this will be my page function. I want to explain to you the task of this function, how it helps us.
Sure. Take your time.
Okay.
Yafupisha.
Mambo ni mengi yaani bado line kama 300 huko nyuma na mtandao umeshaanza kunisumbua hapa. Let me take my time first, few minutes. Okay. Okay. Okay, so when you click all collectors in my homepage, in my drop down, so when I click all collector, it navigates me to this collector page that he contain all collectors that found in my page. Okay. let me show. Yeah. So that the functions that help me to perform this functionality, it fetch collector. So it's go automatic to my backend and the request by gate to fetch all collectors that found in my database and then display to my page. So as you see inside is a try block. I have a try if else statements. So during functionality of that during operation of this function, we have if else statements which can help me to handle some errors. So if I will fetch my collector from backend and the success it execute if statements, and if it's failed it go direct to execute as state to tell the user that to tell the developer it's failed to fetch the collector. But if it succeed, it allow me to navigate to the add collector page or collector page. As that's why I said when user click on all collector, it allows it. So if it is true and if it's success, it allow user to navigate to the all collector page and see all collectors that fetched by this fetched collector function. So that is the functionality of fetch collector. That's why you see in my if statement, if it's success, it allow it call all collector which is this one, all collector, and it display all fetch the collectors from backends. So that's all about that function. And if it's failed, it notify you error in fetching collector. It's pop in my page. So that's all about my fetch collector function. So let me move to my another function that found in line this function, line 50. So this is function for handle collector selection, and I pass the collector as parameter. So about this function, as you see, it handle collector selection, and inside this function, as you see, I called my drop down open, select collector, selected date that I declared above. Let me show in my page. So main function of this function, it's update your selected collector. In a simple way, we can say that it updates all selected collector, and it close my drop down, and also it clear previous selected dates. As you see, I have my comments here. It's clear date and the switching collector. It clear previous records. This is, as you see, I used the record variables that I declared above, and I also selected the date null in order to clear. And I use the is it dropping down option false. This means that my drop down will be false, not true, and I selected the collector as collector. So at the bottom here, if the collector option selected, it will redirect me to go to the collector files. As you see, my collector files, see this one. So this is the main function of this function. It's under collector selection. So selection of, first of all, it clear all data. Second, it clear previous records. And if the collector is selected, it navigates. It helps me to navigate to the collector name. It helps user to navigate to the collector page, which is this one, this collector page. Yeah, that's all about this function. And as you see in my web here page, so as you see here, when user click my all collector, it allows user to navigate to this. That is my last, it's my statement number, line number 56 and 57. It allows, this is function, as I said earlier, this is go to function. It allows navigation of from one page to another. So as you see here, my records, it's clear record when is switched. Yeah, as you see in my home, my home page, when I reload my page, or I select this my dates switched, my date cleared, then it allows user to select as own date. So that is function of my handle collector selection. So after that, I move to my another function that's called handle submission. According to its name, handle submission, it handle submission of my entry in my homepage. So this is so all entry submission on my page. So this handle submission, it's called I pass event as parameter. So it's called this method called prevent default. Present default.
So
Yeah. And
yeah, what does that do? The prevent default.
prevent default.
Yeah.
Okay.
You can search on Google, no problem. I just want you to explain it by yourself, yeah. As best as you can. You can search Google on your computer.
Okay. Okay, this is prevent default method. of events. So as you see, it tells the user that if the event does not get explicit, its handle, its default action should not be taken, normal will be. So let me note it look better alternative when user present to block default action. For example, use disable. In short, it's like it's responsible for it's handle events. In short, it's handle events. So when event does not get explicit handled, action should not be taken as normal will be. It handles the events.
So
In
yeah,
short,
I would just like to add something, okay? So let me explain
okay.
prevent default in my own words. Okay? So for
Okay.
example, on your function, that's submit, right? Submit event, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So yeah, our browsers have, or HTML, our browsers have built-in functions or built-in events that would happen when something is clicked. For example, a button might do, its default action is to reload the page, the submit button, right? So yeah, our browsers detect that default action if there is a submit button in your HTML. So it will automatically detect that if you have a button that says submit, it would automatically trigger page reload. Okay, that's the default action of a submit button. Now, you used prevent default to prevent this action, so it would not reload. Okay, so instead
Okay.
of reloading, instead of going to the default action, you are you make your own action. For example, yeah, go back to that prevent default function. I mean, you're on your codes. Yeah, yeah, where is it? I think it's more, yeah, there,
This
there,
one.
there. Yeah. So you are preventing the default action of that handle submit, and you implemented an action yourself. So the action is, of course, we can see on your codes that you are submitting it to API entries. That's the action that you want the submit button to do, is to submit an entry to API slash entries, right?
Yeah.
That's your action. Now, we use prevent default to prevent default actions of what might happen.
Okay.
Okay, so that's optional. You can remove that if you do, if the default actions of the browser is fine, you are fine with
If
reloading the page on submit. But for some use cases in our projects, we don't want those default actions. So that's why we use prevent default. From the name itself, it's to prevent the default actions, the built-in actions of something within the browser. Yeah. So that's the importance of prevent default. That's why you use that on your function, is you are preventing the default actions of browser, and instead you coded your own action on the
Okay,
handle
okay.
submit.
Now I get you.
Yeah.
So okay. I prevented default action of a browser in order to call my own planned action
Yeah, on that submit.
of that submit.
Yeah, because submit, the default action of submit is reload the page. Yeah.
Of course, yeah. I remember that this function you was you helped me to handle my. I was met with some challenge about my homepage,
Yes.
and you helped me about this function. So that's why I was not understand well. Okay, now I got you. I got your point. Okay, so I may proceed. We have another addition. Richard, you have another addition.
No addition. Summarize.
Summarize. Sir, I may proceed.
Sure. You may proceed.
Okay. In prevent default, so we present default action about submission in order to my events to occur, my programmed events that I coded in my function to occur. So inside my handle submission, I have my events or action, which is status if. So this it check if collect and date are selected. If not, it bring to me if collector and date are selected. If not, it open an error. That's why error mode is true. As I said earlier, that so if it's true, it's not it opens error modes. It's returning error modes. That I said error mode. I declared this error mode variable. Yeah, I think this is what I worked on yesterday to implement my request to this page. Yeah. So let me proceed where so that's it. In order to prevent my default aim of for this is the most aim of preventing some default action. So I have another action of sending my details to my by using post requests here. A date selected the date. Constant form data. I declared some variable here. No, yeah, selected date, entry date, data. Okay, form data. Okay, so submission is true. So I'm move on to try catch block. Yeah, this is for post. Yeah, this is for posting. So this is it's send data, entry date, collect ID. As you see, all yeah. As we when we go to post request this week, in my entry file API. Let's go to this API. It'll be easier for us to understand well. API entry, yeah. So what's its post is, so this is post request. We post some, I send some data to the backend by post request. So when you go to my entry, API entry, you will see my post request. Where is my post request? This one. So it's post. It inserts some ID, collector ID, entry date to my backend. That's why as you see in my request. So that is simple like that. So when we proceed with that is the essence of using post request. Main essence is this method is responsible for posting some data to the backend, to my database, yeah, by using post request. So after that we have, so I use the try block. So if it show toast the notification. So if it's success, it toast to me some notifications that if it's success, it show toast the notification and reset my phone. Yeah, really. If it as you see, I think action will talk more than word. So as you see, when I add what I say, what I explain in this one, when I add some data, so I use the post request. Post request is send a data. So post request is send my entry data to my database by using post request. So as you see also in my function, I have toast visibility true. So if it is success to post my data to database to backend, so automatically it bring to me notification is loading true, and it toasting notification is true. So we expect my is loading and the toasting notification will be visible. So that's why we use toast visibility. Visible is true in order to toast what notification. Also you'll see also is the visibility must be true also. Yeah, let me see is submitting true. Yeah, is submitting. Using submitting true. Yeah, also toast is true. So that's all. But if it fails, it bring to me some errors. It bring to me error of saving entry. It notify me error of saving entry. That's why I'm using try and catch block. But if none of them, so if none of them finally it refresh my collector list. That's why we see submitting false, default mode false, and also it called the fetching collector and view record. So one of them is success. Maybe if we try block success, automatically it do has the action. After that it finally refresh refresh my page by making submitting false means that, and the default mode is false, and called my fetching collector and view records, as you see now here. This is finally you see nothing going on. So after adding my end, maybe this one, and submit. So this is the try. After try, finally it refresh finally it refresh it called my fetch collector and also it called my view record. That's why I view my record. I hope you understand. Teaching to be a teacher is talent. Okay. Okay, I have another function here of view records. Yeah. Thanks God I'm going to finish my script part because if I'm seeing confused something, I have a lot of things. So I have my last function. It's all about view
If
records.
if you
So
are
this it
confused
helped me.
about something, Arnold, okay, don't hesitate to let me
Okay.
know, even if you are presenting, okay,
Okay.
so we can tackle it and explain it.
Come again, sir.
If you have something in there in your codes that is confusing to you, you can ask me questions even while you are presenting.
Okay. Okay, sir. I think that will be helpful. Okay, sir, I got you. I get you. I may proceed.
Okay, you can proceed.
Okay. 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 Good. Good. I'm trying to check my code. That's why I'm called. Wait a bit. In order to explain well.
Hello?
Okay. Yes, I'm here. I'm here. Okay.
Okay.
We have view function. View function. Yeah. First of all, we start with. I started with if selected the collector if selected the collector and he selected the I means that if there is no data.
Mm-hmm.
Let me some things here. Okay. So if selected the collector and the select date, it's avoid fetching. If collector is invalid, it means that if we selected the collector and the selected the ID does not match, it avoid fetching. It will return avoiding fetching. Avoiding fetching.
Okay.
Yeah. So it's loading true for this. For this, it try catch block. So when you see, I prepared my get request. So we request on the file API entry, this one, entry. So request API entry, I think this one. So we have get request, this one. Okay. Where is my home page? So we request on my API, my entry API to filter record, to filter some record depend on record data. Depend on my selected date. As you see, here is my we fetch result.data .entry. So as you see, a console fetch the records, and if it's failed, it bring towards notification failed to fetch records in my server, in my console. Yeah. And it's catch some errors if may error occur, and it alert as error occur while fetching. So finally, its loading is false. So during this process, the loading is true as I declared here, but only for final. After the try and catch to be learned, its loading is false. Means it show for us the loading does not function. It does not function. Let's see our page for you to get my point. Yeah, we're in view. Okay. We're in view part. Yeah. This view is starting from here. It's viewing through here. During fetching, this is posting. So this is all these records fetched from backend. This one. All this record is fetching from backend to our end load and our path of entry API. So if it's success to fetch, you'll see in your page. And if it failed, it let you know. And finally, the loading is false. As you see, there's no loading, any loading of data here. So this is all my post, my fetch, my get request working in my view records. So get request, it requests all entry records from backend to my homepage to be visible. Yeah, that's all. So as you see, my comment automatically call view records when a valid collector is selected. So yeah, when you here is simple like this one. When here in my web, I deleted the old collector. I have remaining only one collector. So when you click the collector, pop, it automatically retrieve all records that found on that collector before I select the date. So this is what automatically calls the view records when valid collector is selected. So it's learned this code. It's called view record function. After I learn this statement, and if this statement is true, if selected the collector and selected the ID is selected, so it automatically calls this function view record. That's why if it is true, you'll see my records when you select your corrector here. So it's like that. So after that, it filter record based on. Let's move to this part. It's filter record based on selected date. Yeah. How it's filter? This is function for filtering. As you see, I have ifs and else statement. If else statement. If so, this is what it filter my selected date. Sir,
Mm-hmm.
I think you may help in this part. I think you taught me. You solved my last year about this part. So I think I did not get you.
Okay. So sure, let me
Yeah.
explain that part. So yeah, Richard, you can also use this technique. So basically, what it does, to summarize its function, is filtering the records by date. Okay. So first, that symbol over there, the I believe it's the dollar sign symbol. So it's a reactive statement. The dollar sign.
Okay.
That's what it means. So what it means is that code, that part of code, or that code block will run every time there is some changes in your records or selected date. Okay, so
Okay.
every time there is some changes there, it will react.
It's
That's
long.
why it's called reactive statement. So that will run. So let's go to the first if method, or if block. So if records that the length is more than 0, so that means if there are records. So it will only run if there are records available. Okay. So then
Okay.
the next if there is a selected date. So if there is no selected date, that code will not run. And then if there is indeed a selected date, then this code will run. So we made a new variable, or remember the declared variables? I believe, if I remember correctly, we declared filtered records.
Yeah.
Yeah. Can you show up? Can you go up and show Richard your variables? Let's take a look if filtered records is there. There we go. Yeah. So we
This
have
one
a
little.
filtered records which has no um value for now. There is nothing inside, But if there are records, then now we will put some data inside.
Store filtered records. Okay.
Yeah, we will store some data inside filtered records. So what will we put inside the filtered records? It's written there on your code. Filtered records is equals to records dot filter. We use the filter function. You can search it on Google. What is the filter function on JavaScript? So it filters the record by date. As you can see, it says there new date, which is the record dot entry date. And we, of course, we formatted it into local date string, and we compare it to the selected date. You can see below new date selected date dot local dot, of course we formatted it also to local date string. It compares those two dates. First, the record dot entry date and the selected date. So if they are matching or they have the same date, then it will be put inside filtered records. Okay? So anything else, if
Okay.
they don't match, it is not going to be inside filtered records. Yeah, that's why it's called filtered records, because it's already been filtered. And that's exactly why we need the selected date, and we need, of course, a record. So that's why there is an if block there. Records dot length is more than 0. Because if it's 0,
Yeah.
then there are no records. That's basically it.
There's no records.
Yeah,
Yeah, sure.
exactly.
Okay.
So, however, next to the if block of selected date, there is an else. So, if there is no selected date, then filtered records will be just records. No filter.
No
Because there is
filter.
no selected date. So, it will just show all available records. Yeah.
Okay.
And on the if records that length is more than 0, there is an else block there.
Yeah, I
So
see.
if there is a 0 records or no available records, then filtered records will stay empty.
Empty.
Yeah. So that's the logic flow of that code. So
Okay.
yeah, Richard also has a calendar on his project. This might be useful to your project, Richard. You might be wanting to also filter your gratitude entries. In your project, it's called gratitude. In Arnold's project, it's called records. That's why it's daily recorder, because they are records. Yeah.
Records.
Yeah. So you may continue. I think you are done with the script. Like,
Yeah, I think I'm done with this script. Yeah, I'm done. Okay. Yeah, I'm doing this HTML part. Yeah, in my HTML, I categorize in some few parts. I have my header, I have my main, I have my mode, and my mode. That will help. This mode is from Flowbyte. So in my header, I create navigation, as you see in my header. This is my header. Okay. In my header, as you see, I have some clickboard list outline. I think this is the icon from Flowbyte that I imported as you, if you remember. I have some clickboard listed. This is imported from Severity icons. This is icons. Yeah. Clickboard, as you've seen I think this part you have to show. This one. This is clickboard. So is what I'm talking about. Yeah. This is neighbor to the daily support. So yeah. So this is found in my header. In my header part, I have daily records and records your daily memo. This is content paragraph found in my header. So my header is this one. In shortly, this is my header. I create my header in order for help me easy styling it. So this one, this is all my header. So my header contain icon, contain this heading, daily record, and as paragraph. So after that, I created the main session. In my main, it contain all my. Wait a bit. Oh. So let's proceed. This is my main. My main is started to here up to this one. This is all my main. So in my main class, I have welcome session. I use H2, the size of word, and I use the class test2 fonts, types of fonts and bold. Yeah, this is welcome back. Is like subheading. I using header 2. In order, there is H1, H2, H3. This is like the size of word you want to look like, big or small. Use this H2, H3. But in something known as search engine optimization, it's better to follow the regulation. In order my site to link to optimize my site, so use H2. But I think if we allowed to consider CO protocol, we may use first H1. Oh yeah, I have to use H1 to follow the CO protocol. So we use H2. After that, I use the paragraph. After that, this is paragraph for let's paragraph with this one paragraph. This is H2. I think I have to do this H1 in order to mod my page HTML to follow my CO protocol. So after that, I have my button. I create a session. Sessions is combining calendar and collector. I think I have always to use my comments. Comments help developer to understand what is going on. Also, another important of comments, maybe it helped me during presentation of my project. It will be very simple to explain it. So I have a session here. This session is in my session part. It combining collector and the calendar session, my date picker. So inside this session, we have corrector and the session calendar selections. As you see, I have my date, my div here, collector selection drop down. You see Richard, you see the advantage of comments. It will help you to explain. It will be very simple. I have collector session drop down. I using div and a class relative inline block. So inside is I have button. I have one button. So I styles by Flowbytes inline styling, and they have on click. So this one is this one. This one here. So this is what we found in session. So now we are moving to this div. This one, as you see, when you inspect, it'll be also easy to yeah. When you inspect, it will be so. Yeah, let me help you in the chat. Here. Yeah, here. This one. This is div. So this is another method, Richard, you can note on how to present your HTML parts. Yeah. So we have this div. This div, as you see, my class, my button. So as you see, my driving school, my collector. So it have span. Yeah. Span is like something for, it's like bolding part. It's like yeah. It's like spanning is like making text to specify text. Yeah. There's difference between spanning. You may put inside the paragraph in order to point some word as a keyword. Yeah. Yeah. This is button, of course. All this I put it inside is a div in order to allow to be easy to class it, to style it. Yeah. So after that I have date picker. This is date picker. Yeah, this is date picker. As you see, this is imported from Flowbytes, as you know, as I said earlier. So I using Flowbytes, I using the tailwind styles to style it. Yeah. After that, we may move on to my code to finalize. So that's all my calendar. This is my date picker as I imported. Yeah. This after that we in display records. This one, displaying my record. Yeah, as I use the if block. So if record.length is greater than 0 ones, as is greater than 0, as my instructor said. This one is my last pop-up. Let me close this header. This one, I'm in main. Okay, I'm in main. So this React, I'm finding something. This one, Twitter records. Okay. Where is it? Yeah, display record. So in my display record, when record length is greater than, must be, first of all, must be. Also, I hope, sir, this also you made you, not me, but you can explain it. I remember this is what you did. Yeah.
Okay, so let's.
I hope, sir, you may help me. Yeah.
What part of it does confuse you?
This one, display records.
Okay.
This one.
So yeah, show it again.
Okay, this one.
Yeah. So there is an if block there. and everything inside will be shown if on the codes if records that length is more than 0. So if there are no
Ah, yeah.
records, it those will not show. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
So the next part is on H3. You will see some codes over there on line 231.
Yeah.
So yeah, on line 231. Yeah, there, the H3, inside the H3. Show it. Because, yeah, there. So, there, if there is a selected date, okay, then it will, it will say records for new selected date. Okay, so the text uh, will change
Yeah, sure.
if selected, if there is a selected date or not. So if there is a selected date, it will be written like records for selected date. If not, if there is no selected date, it just says all records. So try to select the date. You can see it says all records. And now it's
Yeah.
records for Thursday, March 13th. Yeah. That's
Yeah, I
what
got you.
that's what that means. Now next, let's go over to line 240. 240. You can see an if block there. So if you can read it, you can read your codes like this, guys. Like an English language. So I will read it like if there is a selected collector and there is a selected collector dot fields, then I will display each field. So you can see an each block right there. So each selected collector dot fields, doesn't matter how many, it will display all of those. So for example, we have five fields on selected collector dot fields, then that th tag or table header tag will display 5 times, each with field dot label. So those 5 different fields will display as field dot label. So yeah. Now let's move on to the
Okay.
next part. Line 250. Okay. Let's read it as English. So I will just display the filtered records. So each filtered records, so doesn't matter how many. It's like a map function. So each filtered records, then I will display first on the table data, the TD tag, new date, which is the record, that entry date. Of course, we formatted to local date string. The next if tag is just it just repeats repeated the earlier each tag. So I mean if tag, if selected collector and selected collector that fields, then the codes below or inside will run. Okay. Then again, for each selected collector, doesn't matter how many again, it will display the fields. Okay, so that's basically it. That's for the filtered records. So remember, we already filtered the record earlier in our script tag.
Yeah.
So yeah, if there is a record, then we will put all records inside filtered records. And if there is a selected date, we will then filter the records based on the selected date. Of course, if there are no selected date, then we'll just display all records, and it will say all records instead of records for selected date. So yeah, it's like a conditional display.
Yeah, sure.
So you will display those
I see.
values based on a condition.
Yeah, I see.
And on line 274, we have an else if tag. Else if is loading records. If that is true, you have shown the spinner.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so yeah, else if there is a selected collector but no records, it will say no records have been found for this collector. Yeah. And yeah, you may continue if you understand. Try explaining the next if blocks on your own. Try reading it in English, just like I did earlier. Maybe you will understand as you explain.
Mm,
Just try
okay.
on line 282.
Okay. Okay. If selected collector and selected collector ID is not this if is not so this symbol is for is not equal.
Yes, yes, exactly. Perfect. It's not
If is
equal.
not equal,
It's not
yeah,
equal
if is
to
not equal to
add collectors. Yes.
add the corrector, it will execute
Uh-huh.
these things like that you said. Oh,
Yes. That will be shown.
yeah. So yeah.
The gradient
So
button.
gradient button. So
Yeah.
it show things that found in this button when user click this the entry
Yes. It will show that
button
button if there is a selected collector.
if there is selected correct.
Yeah. And if the selected collector is not equal to add collectors. Because remember, on your options, you have add collectors option.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Proceed.
Yeah. So if it is if towards the visibility, okay, yeah. Yeah. So if it's Thursday,
Mm-hmm.
if entry is added successful, it tells there it tells for us notification. This is some style of my of no. Yeah. This is all about this is if This is if is toast visibility variable. Function means that. So this is where we regulate or we control our toast notification about the position, toast position, about toast duration. Yeah, and after that, after 3,000 seconds, it toast visibility be false. Means that it disappear automatic. That's why it disappear automatic. This entry added successful. So it's all about main. So after that, I'm going to end up about the modi class. Modi class is when is all about this. When user click add, this is modi class for new entry. This is for new entry, and this last one, modi class. This is what I introduced yesterday. I coded yesterday for my error handling, error mods. So yeah, so this is inside the mods. I imported mod from flow by its vault, where inside the mod I putted my forms. Form for entry, form for new entry added with as fields. Yeah. So in my form class, I have if statement, if block, if was statement. So if selected corrector dot field is less at the length as at the length. If selected collector dot field dot length is greater than 0, means that it will execute, it will show, it will execute, it will call, it will execute this one by label for field.id, block text media field. So it execute by this one. It execute this. In this is for, I think, ID, name, type of placeholder. Okay, yeah, I think it show this one. It show this one. ID, name, type of placeholder of a certain collect is of a certain field. It shows this field label, all this field label, if it is true. But as no field available. So if there is no, if this statement, if okay. Okay, so we have this form. This form is inside this form we have prevent default. So we prevent submission. We prevent some default action of browser to handle this submission. So if we try to show this one, it show for us if selected the collector dot length dot field dot length is greater than 0. It is show for us this one. But if false, it execute this one. No field available for this collector. So after that we close this if block. After that we have this button for submission. Yeah, we close this form. If we submitting, form is submitting, it is spinner for us. Spin for us is size 6. Yeah, at the bottom light. Yeah, that's one. So after that I have this mode, last mode. This is for error. It's mode for error display, which says that please select collect and date. Yeah, I bind this error mode to my button. Yeah, if I close and if I have closed this one. Okay. Yeah, this is error modes. Select a collector, so is this one. So if you forgot to select a collector, a date of a certain, if you forget to select a date and you want to submit data, is submitting, so it will bring to error modes. Please select a collector and the date, and you may close it. So this close is found for error mode. If you may close it, cancels. So I hope that is all for my homepage.